This podcast has mature language, not intended for underage viewers.
Street cred sports. Street cred sports. I'm crossing over. I'm Euro stepping.
Hello, this is Keenan of Street Cred Sports Training, and welcome to another episode of Time to Ball. Today's episode is episode 41. Now, I'm at the facility. I forgot about intercession, so I've been doing a lot of training past 2 weeks during the day, during the evening. So hopefully next week I'll be back in the booth, where I can say, yo, turn my. Rappers be like, yo, turn my beat up or turn the beat down. Give me more instrumentals, however they do it. Well, I hope everybody's doing well. Still with this heat, man. It's October, almost middle of October. It's still 89, 90 degrees. I don't like winter, but I think this might be the first year that I'm like, man, it's 60, 50, 40, 50 degrees outside. I'm going to be like, okay. And I'm like, damn, it's going to be 40. I'm not asking for 30 and 20 and 10 and, and snow and ice, but hey, give me some 50s and 60s for the next, few months, man. Let me kind of take a dip and cool off, because it's been bad. It's been brutal. And look, I got the best, clients, kids, the parents, the kids, the trainers, for putting up with all this heat and stuff. And I've been busting my ass, man, getting up here as much as I can, especially when it was in the 110 and stuff, and the high 100s. Getting up here early and turning everything on and staying here to make sure that it was somewhat reasonable. And I know it wasn't some days. So shout out to all of my clients and staff. It was very much appreciated that you came and endured this with me. So I know, like you, I'm ready for some cooler temperatures. And every time on the app, the weather app is like, 10-day forecast. You see some low 80s and 70s. Like, oh, okay. And then you get closer and it's like, high 80s, low 90s. Like, wait a minute, hold on. I thought it was supposed to be, low 80s and upper 70s. Man, what the hell happened? That heat is just like, yo, nah, I'm gonna bother y'all. I ain't going nowhere. So let me get on to some stuff. Let me, things well, not anything, but just things that were on my mind. I gotta start out with the Cowboys massacre. That's what I'm calling it. Now I know I have some people, that are Cowboys fans. I hope you don't turn around and be like, oh, he's talking shit about the Cowboys, so I'm not gonna listen to him anymore. No, look, I thought San Francisco was going to win. I thought they were the better team. I thought they would win maybe by a touchdown or 10 points, at the most 2 touchdowns, maybe, a late, touchdown and just try to seal it and, put the distance and stuff. I felt it was going to be competitive. There is no way in hell I thought that game was going to go the way it was. That was bad. I mean, like, really bad. I posted on Facebook, like, yo, man, that was bad. Yo, Dallas, can y'all bite them or scratch them or something? Do something, man. Yo, that was real bad. And to me, this is how bad it was to me. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan or a Dallas Cowboy player, I don't care if we beat everybody else from now until the end of the season by 100 points. None of that matters to me. You got to go back and beat San Francisco. You don't even have to beat them the way they beat you. You got to go back and win. If you go back and win, whether it's last second field goal or what, now you can talk, but you can't. What can you say, man? If you beat, the Chargers, the Rams, the Eagles twice, you go through the rest of the season and you don't lose a game, I'm still like, yo, man, but y'all lost 42-10. It could have been worse. It looked like they turned. Look, they went to they backup, and then I think they still scored a touchdown with the backup. It looked like the running touchdown that put them up, I believe, 42-10. I don't think he was really thinking that he was going to be that open when he ran through the line. That was bad, y'all. And okay, you hear, okay, well, Dax, I've been talking to different people who, Cowboys fans and stuff, and it's, man, I can't stand Dak. And I always say, well, like, he's not a bad quarterback. Now, he does make some bad decisions sometimes, but, a lot of quarterbacks will do that. He just seems to make more of them. But there were a few years where, man, he was humming. But then like around December, January, he started doing some stuff. I can't even put that game on him. Like that defense, and I hear like, y'all talking that y'all might be one of the greatest of all time. Y'all gonna be a top, defense ever. You don't give up 42 points. I don't care how bad my offensive line is. If I'm that dude defensively, I'm looking at them and say, we're either going to tie or they're going to get a turnover offensively and their defense is going to score one touchdown, or they get a turnover and we hold them to 3-and-out, but they're close enough to kick a field goal. We're not losing no 42-10. No, not today. Nah, we balling. If we lose this game, everybody's going to be able to point and say, like the offense was just really bad, but we were in it. We kept us in because we didn't let them score more than 10 points. I remember back when Ray Lewis and the Ravens, that 2000 season, I think it was 2000, that they won. Look, when they were playing, I remember calling my dad and I was telling him, I just love watching a defense play. I think they really don't care about having an offense play. They were that good. They were that good defensively to where they were just flying around. You couldn't score on them, right? So that's what I think. To me, it was a total failure on all levels. But I was very surprised. Number one, by the score. I think I was more surprised with how bad the defense played. So, and then I believe Michael Parsons got on his at the end of the game, like, man, I don't think they better than us. I think we just as good. And then he got on his podcast and was, I take that personal that George Kittle had on the F Dallas shirt and stuff. I take that personal. And I'm like, man, you should have been taking it personal when that game was going on. They were doubling, tripling. He goes through that every game. Now, the first play of the game, he lined up on Trent Williams, and I was like, okay, this is a matchup I want to see. Trent handled him with no help. He handled him, and that seemed to set the tone. In the rest of the game, he wasn't a factor, which was surprising. So, yeah, I can't. It was bad, man. It's like I just was in shock. I was like, man, I'm gonna turn this TV off. But it was like that, how it is. You ever see something on Facebook or Twitter or TV or something, and you see it and it's gonna be bad, but you watch it anyway. That's kind of what it was. I just watched it anyway. But we'll see how the rest of the season goes. Hey, ain't no guarantee they're gonna even make the playoffs, because you look at that schedule, I think they have maybe 2 gimme games where you can say, yeah, they should blast them. The rest of them some of them are maybe 50-50, and some of them are like, you don't think they're gonna win those games right now. I mean, a lot of things can change once they get close, but I'm concerned if I'm a Cowboy fan looking at this, because that was supposed to be the test. But Yeah, I was in shock. I just couldn't believe it. So, but that was part of the game. So now, next thing is, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the showcases that I went to. Uh, I was at one here in El Paso. It was called the Jamboree. It was put on by a gentleman named Bob Jones. He had some local teams playing some teams in New Mexico, as well as a couple of prep schools in not Franklin, a couple of prep schools in Arizona. The games were being held at Franklin High School. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was not, you got to see some talent. I was able to evaluate and stuff, and get out and do some things that I've been asked to do lately. That was my second scouting and evaluation event that I did this year. So I did the Las Vegas Big Time Tournament, which was like top of the food chain. I did this one, and this one was really good. And Skyline Prep in Arizona, they got some kids. Kid in Chapin, 6'10" kid, Jaden Leverett. I sure hope I don't mess his name up. But Jaden is 6'10". He's legit, great footwork and everything. So him and Brandon Hines at Chapin were really, really good, impressive. There were some other kids as well. So I was glad to do it. I wasn't going to at first because I knew I was going out of town the following week. But I was like, you know what? I need to get my ear to it, because anytime I can put information out on local kids for colleges and scouts, I want to be able to do it. So it was great. It was great, and I look forward to doing it again. So then the next week, I went to the fair in Dallas, State Fair, Texas, where you can get anything fried. Anything fried. Anything. They fry butter and ice cream. They fry pizza. I don't even know how that's possible, y'all. You cook a pizza, but I mean, I know it's possible, but it's like, yo, they had fried collard greens, which was a theme because everybody was getting them. Fried sushi, fried. It was crazy, but I missed it. It was great going back to the fair. My lovely wife was. She was like a 9-year-old kid in the candy store with all of that stuff. She didn't get a chance to eat everything, and then when she ate some things early, and then when she got to some other stuff that she didn't see, she was mad because she was like, I shouldn't have ate. I should have waited. So yeah, but it was great being there with my family, visiting and doing something that I hadn't done since my childhood. Now I was there before. About 10 years ago, I think, 10, 15 years ago, about more or less. And, I was with my wife, and we took 3 kids down there. Now, I probably never mentioned it, but my wife's oldest, my oldest, because they're my kids. They're not my biological kids, but they're my kids. She has 2, and they have a condition called, goodness, I'm going to mess it up. I can't. It's a neuromuscular condition. It'll come to me, but it's like muscular dystrophy, right? Congenital myasthenic syndrome. Yeah, just popped up. So this condition attacks the muscles. So they can function, but they're really weak. They get really weak from doing stuff, and they have to have wheelchairs. So growing up and being part of their lives with my wife was an experience, because there were things. The condition is so rare at the time. It was like only a certain amount of people in the world with this. It was that rare. And like when we would go to the doctor's appointments and stuff, doctors would stare at them, because it was like, oh my God, these are the kids who, like they had never seen it before. So going through life with them, it was challenging for them. It was challenging for us, because as parents, you always want your kids to feel comfortable. You want to be able to do stuff, but we had to know there were limitations. Well, that was the last time that we had actually been, is when we took them, right? So the kids are there. My biological daughter, she's young at the time. So then the youngest, Joseph, he has a condition. He wants to ride the roller coaster. Right now, okay, I'm gonna get on the roller coaster with him, obviously to make sure, that he's able to hold himself because, some roller coasters are herky jerky and he doesn't have the strength to keep his head straight. So, if it's a sudden turn, he's gonna jerk his head back. So I needed to make sure that I had him, right? I got you. Don't worry about it. We're on a roller coaster and we hit a dip and he came up out of his seat, and then after that dip, it was a sharp turn. It was a lot, the roller coaster was a lot, faster and more aggressive than what I thought it was going to be for the size. And I had my arm around him to begin with, but when that hit that dip and he went to fly out, he almost, if I hadn't had my arm around him, he'd have probably flew out of that chair, right? So I had my arm around him and it flew around, and then it hit a curve and it went to turn, and as it went to turn, I put my hand on the side of the head so he wouldn't jerk his head. And as this was happening, I'm looking and I'm kind of trying to enjoy it in a nervous way, but as I looked at him, I realized he was scared, and I just told him, like, I got you. Nothing's gonna happen to you. Like, I'll be thrown from this or hurt myself before I allow anything to happen to you. So in any case, we rode it. That's the last time he's ever wanted to ride something. So that was the last time that we had went. So to go back, it was just her and I, because this was more of a business trip to get out there and scout the Pangos, which is why I went. So it was fun. The fair was fun. She had fun. I had fun with family. And then we go to the Pangos, and I scout the Pangos. Now, the Pangos is a very top-level event. It's a freshman and sophomore event, and it was like 240 kids there. And I'm almost positive, because I believe every year that they have it, the top kids that you see in that usually end up being some of the top recruited kids in the nation that are Division One, and some of them are going to be in the NBA. The person who does it, his name is Dinos Trigonis, and the thing about showcases is you always want to list the people that have been attended that have done well, because then it gives parents and kids insight as, okay, he attended this, right? Man, he has like a 6 or 8 page. He can put like 6 to 8 pages of names of kids that are NBA players, that are high-level college players, or what have you. So the talent level in that event is great. And I think I was most happy with myself simply because, I'm evaluating. And, of course, I've always felt like, well, I know how to watch. My eyes are telling me who can play or not. But, you're in there with all these other guys who are scouts, and I don't know any of them. And Chad wasn't able to get there on time because he had an issue with the plane. He was flying in. So I got in, and, I was by myself, looking at it, making my notes. I made notes on about 25 kids, right? Now, there were obviously more kids there that could play that I was able to see, because they were running on 3 courts, and you got 240 kids, so it was a lot. But I identified like 25, and I think out of 25, I had 19 or 20 of those kids that were in the top, that got selected for the top 60, which is like a lower level. And then there's the cream of the crop, which is the top 30, which is like the best of all of them. Out of those 90 kids, out of the 25 I had, like 21 of those kids were in there. So that let me know that I guess I knew what I was doing a little bit. So it was good to see that, because you make connections, you meet different people. Now when I'm recognizing talent here, somebody sees it and say, well, this guy knows what he's talking about. Let me give him a call on this kid. And then we go from there, right? So the point in doing this was simply to expand what I do. And it ultimately gives me an opportunity to have more eyes on kids locally here that I can put out. So now I just got to kind of follow through with it and get him out there so I can write up on him and do it. So I'm gonna probably try to do that in the next couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and can't wait to see what happens. So yeah, but that was it was great. So that was my third event this year. So I feel like I'm getting more comfortable, getting used to doing some of these things. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Okay, all right. So let me get to my basketball ideology. I want to talk about sit and watch. What do I mean, sit and watch? Okay, so the question I have is, how long should a player sit before playing? Because coaches say sit and watch. You hear a lot of coaches say you can learn a lot more if you sit. I'm sitting you down so you can learn what to do when you get there. Now, obviously on the NBA level, yeah, you bring in a rookie, unless they're not like some high draft pick rookie that has to play a lot, you usually want to sit them and kind of take your time acclimating them to the season, because it's different on NBA level. Men, a lot of games, you're only playing basketball, travel, all of that different stuff. So you sometimes need to make sure that they know what they're doing and what they need. So I get it on the NBA level. Yes, I completely agree. Now, I don't know how long you're supposed to sit them. Like in football, sometimes, well, it used to be back then where you didn't really play rookie quarterbacks unless you had to. Most of the time, you wanted that quarterback to sit for at least half the year or that full year and get used to what the grind was. Now they throwing you in there. They throw you in there, right? So I get that with football. Now on the college level, if you're in college, I kind of get that as well, because you were recruited, so that coach should know what you are about when they recruit you. And to sit and watch, unless you're just one of those talented freshmen that are coming in and can play, there's a learning curve. So I get that. High school, I guess, is where I'm really pointing to when I'm asking that question. Because I've had conversations with coaches where they say, yeah, I want them to sit and watch. And I never thought to ask them ask this question until day before yesterday, when this topic came up. I heard them talking about it, and I was like, you know what? I wonder how long. And I know it's no magic ball, no one size fits all. I figure some kids, you might want them to sit a game or two. Others, you might want them to sit the whole season. The question I have, and I think I've mentioned this before, is should they sit and watch in high school, or should you let them play on a lower level if they're a junior, freshman, or sophomore? Now, obviously, if they're a senior, they got to play on varsity, right? Maybe this is their first year on varsity. It's a little fast-paced. You're not going to put them out there because you're trying to win games. You bring them along. That's understandable. But if you have a freshman or even a sophomore, maybe a junior, should you sit them for let them play varsity, but they never really play? They're sitting and watching and learning. Or should you put them on JV, where they're going to get opportunities to play and learn and get better? Now, I get it. Competition level on JV is not what it is on varsity. That I get. But the sitting and watching replace actual game experience. Now, I know in some schools, and in some, I'd have to look it up and ask coaches, but I think some kids can play, so many quarters a JV and so many quarters of varsity. Hey, let the kid play JV, but he sits on the varsity and he doesn't play. He gets to watch. I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm for every kid has to play. I'm just saying, like, if you got a kid that can go, but he's not good enough to play on the said team, why don't you let him get more run? Unless you're gonna be, it's so many different circumstances. So it's like it's not a one size fit all. And I know every coach has a different view, but I'm just wondering. That's a question How long? How long do you think a player should sit before playing? Now, again, this probably applies more on the lower levels because in college you get it. You get it. You've been recruited. You need to make sure they know what they're doing. Obviously, if you recruited them going into college, they probably should. But sometimes kids don't understand the speed, the aggressiveness in the game. I didn't understand it, even though, in high school, sophomore year in summer, I played in a college league against, freshmen, juniors, and sophomores that were playing in, what was it? Back then it was, what was it? It wasn't the Big 12. It was something else. But Southwest Conference. So, SMU kids, Baylor, Texas A&M or whatever, but like when I was walking on at UTEP, the first day I got on the court, it was a different experience. So I get that you might not be ready just yet. And like I learned that first day, and then I got more acclimated, as the days and weeks went by because I learned how to adjust. But, not everybody's going to be able to adjust as fast. So I would pose that question to y'all. How long? How long should a player sit when a coach say you need to sit and learn? Should there be a combination or what? I'm for whatever is going to help. I just think, for me personally, it's a waste of a season if a kid stays on varsity and they don't play and they're not getting those reps and not experience. So then they don't get a chance to do that on JV. That's just my opinion. But I mean, I'm not gonna be like, man, if they're not playing, you don't know what you're doing. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just wanting to understand. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So let me know. And what I'll try to do is I'll try to talk to those coaches and ask them, about that. What's their perspective and what's the reasoning by it. And I'll try to get back maybe next time or in the next couple of weeks. I'll try to make a note of it to see what's going on. So that's going to be all, but I do have to tell us a quick thing. Now, while we were in Dallas, I got to see cousins. Here's the thing. When I have so much family at home in Dallas. So much family. And I have so many friends that I keep in touch with. A lot of them I talk to or I message or we call each other or see them, message on Facebook and stuff. Family, the same thing. So when I come home, sometimes I can't see everyone. And it bothers me. And I know that bothers them. And I try to reach out to them and say, look, I'm down here on business. I'm probably not going to be able to see you, but I will try. And I did, it was like within reason. But I was tired and I was there to work. But one of my cousins I hadn't seen in a few years, but I mean, message and stuff. And, I talk to him over the phone if I'm talking to his mom, my aunt. And so he had went to Hawaii. So, me and my wife was asking him, so how was Hawaii and stuff? And he was like, man, it was great. I was like, yeah, you usually don't post or put anything out there, and you would just pictures and posting away. And he's like, yeah, you need to go over there. And I was like, oh no, that's not happening. I'm not going to Hawaii. So then my wife chimes in, oh Lord, no, he's not flying over water. So my cousin spent 2 days trying to work on me to convince me that I should do it and go over to Hawaii because it's a great place. And I will tell you, I would love to go there. But as I've always said, you got to treat me like B.A. Baracus on the A-Team show. You got to tranquilize me, put me on a plane, make sure that tranquilizer lasts long enough so I don't wake up on the plane. And then when we get off the plane, whoever tranquilized me can't be there because that's who I'm going after, right? Because I couldn't enjoy the flight. Just like on a boat, I couldn't enjoy the boat because I'm going to be walking around on a cruise, with 4 life jackets, inspecting everything. I'm not going to have fun, man. I'm worried about this, if this boat going to sink or not. And that's just kind of the way I've been. That's my fear is not just drowning, but my fear is being trapped on something and drowning. So like if I'm on the boat and the boat sinks, and I'm still in the boat. I'm in a compartment or whatever, and it's maybe starting to get a little water in it, and I can't get out. Same thing on the plane. So that's why I'm never gonna do it. And he tried really hard. I gotta give it to him. Shout out to David Lynn. I call him Day Lynn. That's my nickname. Shout out to you for trying to get me on the plane to go to Hawaii, but it's not happening. Now, I thought about it for like 0.2 seconds, and then it was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. So my job is to try to make some really nice getaways that doesn't require me flying over the ocean with my lovely wife, so we can enjoy those things. I told her, look, if you want to go, I'll send you. You go with a family friend, or not family friend, a friend or family member. Get on out there and go. I want to go with you. That's not happening, baby. So you gonna have to make up your mind. I bet you want to go. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. No. But who knows? Maybe your boy might be doing a podcast from Hawaii sometime. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. We'll see. We will see. I don't see it happening, y'all. But look, we're not gonna do any bonus content. This was just a little quick hitter. So I'm gonna leave as I always do. I hope everything goes well for y'all. But I'm gonna leave like I always do. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I'm out.
Street cred sports, say it with your chest. Yeah. Go get it from the net. Street cred sports, okay, that's a bet.